how could you not want to put this on your face? Alright, so today we're going to be talking about how to contour and highlight fair skin. I know when I first started playing around with makeup, this was one of the things that was super difficult for me to find a contour shade light enough, and highlight actually, light enough for my skin. I feel like it's taken me a while to find products that work with my skin, but I'm super satisfied with what I've been using lately, so I want to share it with you guys. If you're new to my channel, I do have a shit ton of videos on foundation and products and powders and everything that are good for people with pale skin. Pretty much any of my shadow and schmooze videos I do my foundation in, so I'll link those in the down bar so you can check them out. So if you want to see how I contour and everything, you're in the right place, just keep watching. Alright, so I have kind of the base of my face makeup on. I primed my face with the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Illuminate Primer, which I absolutely love. And then I went in with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I like this because it is light enough. There's a full-on storm outside right now. I like this because it is light enough for my face and I don't have to mix anything in with it. I'm not a huge fan of the finish, but it does say Pro Matte on it, so I wasn't expecting something dewy. So you basically just want to apply your foundation so that we have a clean, even canvas to apply all of our contour and highlight on top of it. So my favorite concealer to highlight the under eyes and just brighten everything up is NARS Creamy Radiant. NARS Creamy, this is what happens when I try and film at night. Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chantilly. If you have fair skin, this is like the perfect concealer. If you don't have fair skin, get this concealer in your shade, obviously. The formula and everything is just everything that you could ever want in a concealer. So I'm going to apply this under my eyes. I hope you can't hear that, it's freaking loud. I'm going to apply this under my eyes, and this is going to help highlight the under eye area and conceal any dark circles or anything you have going on under there. This stuff is super full coverage. I just like to blend it out with my finger. I feel like that applies the best for me, or blends out the best for me. As you can see, this is a super light shade, which is great because it's really hard to find concealers that are actually light enough for my skin tone. I also like to bring this on top of my eye to cover up any freckles or whatever. Does anyone else have freckles on top of their eyeball? This concealer does dry super fast, so you have to work really quickly. It would probably make your life easier if you just did one eye at a time. Don't know why I don't do that. So to match the lightness that we have going on under the eyes, I'm going to apply a little bit of concealer to the middle of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and my cupid's bow, in the center of our chin. To blend this part out, I just like to take a stippling brush. I'm just going to blend this in. Ignore freaking planet Mars on my forehead right now. So we have a couple options for setting the under eye. My go-to holy grail is the Physicians Formula Translucent Setting Powder, which you know if you watch any of my videos. The consistency, color, everything is just perfect. It is supposed to be a correcting powder, but when you blend it all together, it just is like a super pale shade. If you don't want as intense of a highlight going on under the eyes, you can use the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 100 Translucent. You can also use this all over your face if you're a similar shade to me. I'm going to go in with my Physicians Formula powder on a EcoTools Kabuki brush. This thing is freaking huge. I usually use my e.l.f. powder brush for this, but I kind of destroyed it. Pressing that in, and I just like to press it on top of my concealer. This brush is kind of foolproof because if you just press it in, it kind of covers the exact like triangle that you want. If you put concealer under your eyes, you definitely want to set it with the powder. A lot of the times the powder can change the color of the concealer, so that's why I like to find a super pale powder as well to go on top of it. So I personally like to set my under eyes first and then set the rest of my face. So today to set the face, I'm going to be using Too Faced Primed and Poreless. The L'Oreal foundation, you don't really need, like, it feels pretty freaking dry right now. I actually probably don't need a powder at all, but just to make our lives easier, since we're going to be blending a lot on our face today, I'm just going to go ahead and set everything. You could also use the e.l.f. Translucent powder, whatever it's called. I'm just using that same EcoTools brush, and this stuff is really powdery. You can probably see it flying up everywhere, but it's really great for setting everything, and it just makes your face feel so freaking soft. You definitely don't want to try to blend your contour and everything right on top of your foundation, especially if it's still setting. It's going to be really difficult to blend out, and it'll just make your life way more difficult. You want to make sure you're just patting this rather than blending, because we don't want to blend off our foundation. Took a tea break, we're ready to go. Alright, so our face is good to go. My favorite brush to contour is the Sedona Lace FBO 5 brush. This is just the perfect dome-shaped contour brush. This brush comes in the Vortex brush set, which is my favorite brush set. I do have a coupon code if you want to use that. I'll list it down below. So contouring is basically where we're going to sculpt out all of the parts that we want sunken into our face, and then we're going to highlight the ones that we want to stand out. So we're going to start by contouring the cheekbones and then a little bit around the forehead. That's just where I like to contour. I know some people contour at the jawline and down your nose too. I just keep it basic and do my cheekbones and my forehead. So I'm going to go in with the Nude Mattes palette, which is actually an eyeshadow palette. With fair skin, it can be pretty tricky to find a light enough contour shade. Sometimes the way to go is just use an eyeshadow. This shade right here is the one that we're going to use today. You could also use this one if you're a little bit darker, this cool toned one right here, or you could mix the two together, whatever floats your boat. The trick with the contour shade is that you want it to be cool toned. Contouring is different than bronzing. Here's another one you could use. This is MAC Taupe, and then this would be a bronzer. So you can see the difference in color. A couple other options for contour. NYX blush in Raisin, which definitely is more purpley, but it actually works for me and I actually really enjoy it. NYX blush in Taupe is another classic. This one's a little too dark for my skin tone, but Makeup Revolution London eyeshadow. This is in the shade Delicious. If you're a couple shades darker than me, this will probably be perfect for you. This is literally a pound, which equals like $1.50, so this is super affordable. I've been obsessed with this brand lately. It's been way too much money on their site. Alright, so we're gonna go in with that eyeshadow shade from the Nude Mattes palette on the FBO 5 brush. I'm gonna start at the top and just kind of do circular motions. The great thing about using eyeshadows is that they're also usually easier to blend out, at least for me. So when you contour, you want it to start at the top of your ear and kind of go in the direction of the corner of your lip. You don't want to pull it too far down because that's just going to look funky. Usually you just want to bring it about 1/3 of the way and then like slightly blend it in at the halfway point. I'm just going to do a little bit more in circular motions. And now we have a cheekbone. This brush is just the perfect size, I feel like, to get in the hollow right there. We're just going to take a little bit of that same shade and we're going to start to just shade our forehead. That's what that's called. Whoa, out of focus, sorry. I'm just going right at the hairline and blending that in. Now is the time where you could contour your nose if you were feeling it. I feel so out of my zone when I film at night. You'd think I'd be more awake, but I'm literally like, I don't feel like I'm filming right now. So next I'm going to highlight my cheekbones. You probably switch up the order in the next few steps, but this is just what I like to do. I'm going to go in with the Makeup Revolution Trio in Ultra Fair. I've been freaking obsessed with this highlighter lately. It is super pigmented, so you just need a tiny bit. The bronzer is also really nice. We might use that later. I don't know. The blush kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm. Just overall super great, affordable palette. Am I in focus right now? Who knows? So to apply my highlight, I've been using the Sedona Lace FBO1 fan brush. Look at this thing. Like, how could you not want to put this on your face? This brush just makes me so happy. I'm just gonna literally tap this in the product because it is so pigmented. You shall see. So the good thing about this brush is that the way it's shaped, it literally just places the product perfectly. So you want to apply your highlight right on the top of your cheekbone right here. Whoa, it feels really soft right here. So with this brush, you literally don't have to think about it. You just flop it on. Look at how freaking pretty that is. Whatever is left on the brush, I'm just going to run down the bridge of my nose and on my cupid's bow. Another good option if you don't want to order makeup from the UK is Essence Bloom Me Up in the shade Rose It Up. This is a really great affordable option. I think this is like $3 or $4. Definitely a little bit more pinky, but this totally still works if you have fair skin. Next I'm going to use the Essence Blondes Bronzer. We're just going to warm up our face with this. When I do full on like contour and blush and highlight and everything, I do like to add a little bit of bronzer just because I feel like it brings back the warmth into my face. So to apply this bronzer, I'm going to use the FBO3 Tapered brush by Sedona Lace. And we're just going to kind of warm this up around our face. I'm using a super light amount on this. Pretty much the same spots as before, but just blending it a little bit more around my face. What are we doing? Alright, so for blush I'm going to go in with e.l.f.'s Candid Coral. This is like $3, I think. This is one of my holy grail blushes. I haven't mentioned this in a while on my channel. I used to be obsessed with this like probably a year ago. I've been kind of going away from the corals, but I'm feeling it today. Another option, what I usually use on a daily basis, is Essence Blush Up. This is one of their ombre blushes in the shade Pinky Flow. This thing is so freaking pretty. Favorite blush brush lately has been the Sedona Lace E13 stippling brush, you literally don't have to think about applying your blush. It just happens. I'm just gonna blend this. I usually like to bring this pretty far on the apples of my cheeks just because I feel like that's what looks most flattering on my face shape. If you don't know where your apples are, just smile. I cannot smile with my mouth closed. It feels so awkward. Alright, so this last step is totally optional. This is just for the people who want to take their highlight up a notch. I'm going with the Sedona Lace contour palette, and there's a pure white powder in here, which is freaking amazing. I love this palette. You could totally get by with just using this. Just for like a quick contour, I would totally combine these two shades and use that in my cheekbones. I've done that in a few videos. I do love this white powder. I think it's so much better than my IT Cosmetics palette that I spent like $50 on. This whole palette I think is like between $8 and $10 if I'm right, somewhere around there. To apply this, I'm just gonna take a small tapered brush and we're just gonna put this under our eyes on top of what we did with the Physicians Formula powder in that triangle shape, and this is just gonna help to super highlight everything. I'm also going to put this on the center of my forehead since we never put the Physicians Formula powder over here. Basically putting this in the same spots that we initially put the concealer. Alright, so this is the final look after obviously the rest of my makeup is on my face. I do have a Shadow and Schmooze video on how I got the look I'm wearing right now. So I'll link that in the down bar so you guys can head over and watch that after. Let me know down below what your favorite products are to contour and highlight fair skin. I'm always looking out for new stuff. I might make a whole other video on like just my favorite products for that because I feel like I have a lot of stuff that I didn't mention in this video. Let me know if you guys want to see that. If you like this video and it was helpful for you, be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.